Welcome back, deep divers. Today, we're going deep, really deep into something pretty fascinating. We're talking about Aristotle's four causes.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be a good one.
It is. It's a way, like a framework
Yeah.
for figuring out the why behind, well, everything.
Yeah. From, like, why is that chair over there a chair to, like, what started that whole chain of events that, ended with whatever, big stuff or little stuff. It can kind of apply to everything.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people, when they hear, oh, Aristotle, four causes, philosophy, their brains kind of shut down.
Yeah.
But we're going to make this really clear
Yeah, yeah.
and fun. And we're going to use real world examples
Uh,
that you're going to be like, oh, okay,
uh,
I see how this works. Ready to jump in?
I am, absolutely. Let's get started.
Okay, so the first cause is the material cause.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I think a lot of people, when they think about this, they might already kind of get it.
Yeah, it's the most straightforward one.
Yeah.
You can think about it as, like, the basic stuff something's made of.
So like the wood of a chair,
Exactly.
or, the ingredients in a cake, or even the pixels on a screen.
Yeah, the material cause is about the tangible, like physical stuff that makes up a thing. But Aristotle, he took it even further than that.
Oh, did he now?
He did. He applied this to things beyond just like physical objects, like even abstract things.
Okay, so the material cause isn't just about, like, physical matter. All right, I am officially intrigued.
Think about it this way. Think about a syllable like ba. What's it made of?
Bra, B, and A.
Exactly. It's made of those sounds, the B and the A. Those are its material causes. But the syllable itself, that ba sound, it's something more than just those individual sounds.
Yeah, because it creates a new sound. It's like a unit of language when those sounds combine. So even abstract things, in a way,
Huh.
have material causes. That's kind of cool.
Precisely. It's all about those like fundamental elements that come together to create something new.
Okay, all right. So material cause, check. Got it. I'm ready for the next one. Hit me. What's number two?
All right, so number two, this one is called the formal cause.
Okay, so what's the formal cause?
Well, the formal cause, it's all about the shape, the structure, the essence, I guess you could even say, that makes a thing what it is.
Ah, yeah.
It's what separates like a random lump of bronze from a beautifully crafted statue.
So is it kind of like the blueprint or like the design?
Yeah, those are good analogies. But keep in mind, for Aristotle, the formal cause, it's not separate from the material.
Right.
They exist together in the object itself. It's like you have the wood, the material cause,
Thanks.
and you have the design of a chair, the formal cause. And when those come together, boom, you've got the actual chair.
Okay, so it's not just what it's made of, but also like the organization, the pattern that makes it recognizable.
Right. And this applies to more than just physical stuff, too. Think about your communication style. What are the underlying patterns, the formal cause, that shape how you interact with others?
Oh, that's interesting. I never thought about my communication style having like a form before,
Mm.
but it makes
hmm
sense. All right, I'm hooked. What's cause number three?
Okay, number three. This is what we call the efficient cause.
Deficient cause?
And you can think of it kind of like the trigger, the thing that sets things in motion.
Okay.
It's the thing that directly makes a change or creates something new.
So if we think about the statue again,
Yeah.
the sculptor would be the efficient cause. They're the ones actively shaping the bronze, right?
Yes, exactly. The sculptor's actions, that's the efficient cause of the statue existing. But remember, efficient causes, well, they usually have their own causes too. It's like a chain.
Okay. Like the sculptor needed tools and training and inspiration to even create the statue.
Exactly. And each of those things has their own causes. And it goes on and on, like a chain reaction.
All right, my mind is officially blown.
Yeah.
Give me the last one. I got to know. What is the final cause?
Okay, so the final cause, this one's kind of big. This is the purpose,
Okay.
the goal, the reason why something exists or why something happens. Now, this was a big deal for Aristotle. He really believed that nature itself was goal-oriented. Think of a seed, right? Its final cause is to become a plant.
So it's like the seed has this built-in drive, a purpose to grow and flourish.
That's how Aristotle saw it. Of course, not everyone agrees with this, this idea that nature has a purpose.
Right.
Modern science, it tends to focus more on mechanisms and processes rather than on like inherent purposes.
Right. Like we can observe the seed growing,
Yeah,
but whether it's like consciously striving to become a plant, I don't know. That's debatable.
yeah.
But I can definitely see how this applies to like human actions. We often do things with a specific goal in mind.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've explored all four of these causes.
Right.
We've kind of looked at them individually.
Yeah.
It's almost like we have these four different lenses to look at the why behind
Yeah.
something.
Exactly.
But how do they all fit together?
That's a great question. And that really gets to the heart of how this framework of Aristotle's, how it actually works. Because the four causes, they're not isolated. They influence each other. They work together
Okay.
in some pretty fascinating ways.
So, like, give me an example. How could, let's say, the formal cause influence the efficient cause?
All right, so let's go back to our sculptor.
Okay.
Our sculptor, that's our efficient cause, right? They're the one making the statue.
Right.
But the sculptor, they have a vision of the statue's form in their mind.
Uh-huh.
And that vision, that formal cause, it guides their every action, like every chisel stroke. It influences how they use their tools, their skills, everything.
So the form they're trying to create actually shapes the way they go about creating it.
Yes, exactly. The form, it's like a guiding principle for the efficient cause. And this applies to way more than just statues. Think about building a house.
Okay.
The architect's blueprint, that's the formal cause.
Right.
That determines how the builders, the efficient cause, how they're actually going to build that house.
Oh, or like writing a song. The melody in the composer's head, the formal cause, that's going to shape what notes they choose, what instruments they use, you know?
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, this is so cool. So where does the final cause fit in? Like the purpose? How does that influence the other causes?
Yeah, the final cause, this can add like a whole other layer of complexity
Okay.
because it can influence both the formal and the efficient cause.
Okay, break that down for me.
All right, imagine our sculptor. They're creating a statue, but this time it's to commemorate a war hero.
Okay.
That purpose, that final cause, it's going to influence the form of the statue. Maybe they'll choose a heroic pose or like a determined expression.
Oh, because the purpose is to honor the hero.
Right.
And the sculptor is creating a form that conveys that.
Exactly. But it also influences the efficient cause. The sculptor, because they know what the statue represents, they're going to put even more care into their work
Right.
to make sure that it truly reflects that hero's, bravery, their sacrifice, and all of that.
So the final cause can be like the driving force behind everything. It's like it's influencing the form and how it's created.
Right.
I'm really starting to see how this is about way more than just objects. It's about like actions and motivations. Wow, this is really cool.
It is. And that's what's so amazing about this framework. It's not like a rigid formula or anything. It's more like a set of lenses to look through and analyze anything.
Right. It's more about asking the right questions.
Yeah.
And looking at things from these different perspectives.
Exactly, exactly. And sometimes certain causes might be more important than others, right?
Yeah.
Depending on what you're looking at.
Right.
But just having this framework in mind, it just helps us see the world in a more, well, I guess you could say a more complete way.
Okay, so we've covered the four causes.
Yeah.
We've kind of seen how they play off each other.
Yeah.
And I'm already starting to think about like how this applies to my own life. But like, what's the point? Why should we even care about these ideas that, a guy from ancient Greece came up with?
That's the million-dollar question. Why should we care? And I think the answer is that these concepts, they're so powerful. They've stood the test of time because they can help us understand not just the physical world, but also ourselves, our motivations, our purpose, everything.
So it's not just about like analyzing statues and syllables. It's about understanding who we are and why we do what we do.
Yes. Think about it. If you can identify the material and formal causes of, let's say, your habits or your relationships or even your career, you can start to see the underlying patterns, the things that are shaping your life.
And if we understand the efficient cause, that's about our actions and choices. Like we're actively shaping these things. We're not just passive bystanders.
Exactly. And then the final cause, that sense of purpose, that can give everything meaning.
Whoa.
Direction. It can really make a difference.
This is really blowing my mind. I'm already starting to see my own goals in a new light. Like understanding these four causes, I can be more intentional about what I do.
And that's exactly what Aristotle would have wanted. He believed that by understanding the causes, we can live more fulfilling lives.
So this isn't just some, stuffy old theory. It's like a practical guide to life. This is incredible.
It is. And remember, even though Aristotle, he lived, centuries ago, his insights, they're timeless.
Yeah.
They give us a perspective that can really help us navigate, the craziness of the world today.
This has been amazing. I feel like I've leveled up my thinking skills today.
It's been great exploring this with you. And remember, this is just the beginning. The more you actually apply these concepts, the more you think about them, the richer your understanding is going to become.
Wow. I'm already looking at the world differently.
Yeah.
So we've covered the basics, what each of the causes is, how they work together. And it's really cool how this can apply to big things and everyday things.
It is. What I find particularly fascinating is how Aristotle, he applied this framework not just to like objects, but also to processes.
Processes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm intrigued. Give me an example.
All right. Well, think about motion, like just something moving.
Okay.
Aristotle, he argued that even something as simple as an object moving from one point to another, that can be analyzed using the four causes.
So, how does that work? What would be the four causes of, let's say, a ball rolling across the floor?
Okay, let's break down. The material cause, the what it's made of, that's the ball itself, right? The stuff that the ball's made of, that's what allows it to move the way it does.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. What about the formal cause?
The formal cause, that would be the path the ball takes.
Okay.
The trajectory, the direction of movement, that's its form.
Oh, okay. I'm seeing it. So what gets the ball rolling in the first place? What's the efficient cause?
The efficient cause, that would be whatever force is acting on the ball, someone pushing it or gravity pulling it down a slope, or even just, a little tap that starts it rolling.
And finally, the big question. The final cause. Why is it rolling? What's the purpose?
Now that's where things get really interesting. The final cause of that ball's motion, well, it could be its destination,
Okay.
where it's ultimately going.
So it's not just like randomly rolling around. It's moving with a purpose.
Maybe?
Even if that purpose is just to reach a certain point.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I never thought about motion that way.
Right. It's a whole new perspective, and that's what's so powerful about this framework. It lets us look at not just objects, but events, processes, everything, our own actions, and analyze them on a much deeper level.
This has been, really eye-opening. I feel like I'm, I don't know, understanding the world in a whole new way.
That's great. That's what we're going for. It makes you question things, but in a good way.
Yeah, exactly. In a good way. So as we're wrapping up here, I think it's interesting that Aristotle, he thought understanding that final cause, that purpose, was like the key to understanding the value of something.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He believed that if we really understand the purpose of something, its goal, then we can really judge its success, its impact, its significance. It's like asking, did it fulfill its purpose? Did it do what it was supposed to do?
So if I apply that to my own goals, it's not just about achieving them. It's about understanding why they matter to me,
Right.
what I want to accomplish.
Exactly. It's bringing intentionality, meaning to your actions.
This is powerful stuff. I'm going to be thinking about this for weeks, months maybe.
That's what it's all about. Just sparking that curiosity, that desire to keep learning and understanding.
Well, a huge thank you to you for taking me through this. It's been fascinating. And to all of you deep divers out there listening along with us, thank you for joining us. Keep those brains buzzing and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.